of lemonade, a big one.
Excuse me, sir, but you're not allowed to eat your own food in here.
Oh, I didn't know that. And tea straws!
Yes, it's the Benny Hill Show with guest stars Professor Marvo.
Rubber balloons, cried an old man on the street. But no one cared about his rubber balloons, for a lady had just fainted at his feet. The doctor in the crowd said, I know what to do. Whenever a young lady swoons, you must rub her shoulders and cheeks, rub her hands, rub her feet. And the old man cried out, rubber balloons, oh, rubber balloons. Now won't somebody buy my rubber balloons?
And the lad himself, Benny Hill.
Now to the side of Catfish Lake, there lives a big guy known as Jake. Why, he's so tough, he leaves the shells on when he swallows clams. Why, he's so hard and mean and cruel, he darns his socks with steel wool. And so stupid, he thinks it comes from hydraulic rams. He got a neighbor called Leroy, and he sure does hate this boy, because he's a smartass. Got a quick brain in his head. Why, he could sell a nudist clothes or ice cream to Eskimos. Reckon he could even sell the Pope a double bed. Jake the boss filling gin when young Leroy ambles in. Says ain't been this here place since I was a kid. I see they've done up the saloon, but I sure do miss that old spittoon. Then Jake looks up and says, boy, you always did.
There's rubber blue in El Paso. Very soon there's gonna be a showdown. Man, forget your guns and lassos. And when you fall, get out of town.
Leroy says, why is he such a louse? Last week I was in his house. He entertained me royally. I had quite a groove. And by the side of my plate of ham, I seen a napkin with a monogram. Well, I thought it was until I saw it move. Now, I ain't gonna say he's mean, but outside his house I seen a man with a bill for 5 days on the run. Jake says, look, I shoot to kill. Would you swear that was a man with a bill? He said, well, either that or a duck with a Stetson on. Jake said, you pushed my grandpa off the roof. He said, you know that ain't the truth. He just slipped into the rain barrel with my cousin Beth. And for hours, Annette and Carol tried to sort of lift him out of the barrel. Well, that old boy was ecstasy to death.
Rubber crew in El Paso. Very soon there's gonna be a showdown. Men, forget your guns and lassos. And women, get out of town.
Leroy says you ought to take more care when you go out hunting bear. You shot my prize pig and watched him die. Jake says to show my heart's real big, I'm gonna replace your pig. He says, okay, you'll find the sow out in the sty. He says, how about Jenny Lark? She claims that one night in the dark, she was raped by your son Joe. She swears it's true. He said if it was dark, then how did she know that it was my son Joe? He says, because she had to show him what to do. Leroy puts down his beer, he says, I'm getting out of here. And he wanders off into the nights of black. Then they see Jake depart, and they know that in their heart, only one of them boys is a-coming back. Jake was buried out of town, just 6 feet underground, and they couldn't pin his murder on a soul, 'cause he was tying up a knot in his shoelace when he was shot, and the sheriff never found
the bullet hole.
No more trouble in El Paso. Time for us to have a real high-ho down. Throw away your guns and lassos. This is a real nice peaceful time.
Thank you kindly. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bless you. Jolly nice to be with you once again. And now we have a treat for sports fans everywhere. Well, we've got an action-packed programme for you this afternoon. We've got sailing from Hayling, we've got sledding from Reading, shooting from Tooting, and karting from... On the football front, we'll be looking at the midfield players, at the defenders, and, of course, at the strikers. In particular, we'll be looking at the defending pair of Burnleys, and then we're going to take a good look at this striking pair of Bristols. Bristol Cities. Bristol City Rovers. We're starting off with cycling, and cycling, it's the Tour de Force, which comes to you today from Barnsley.
It's just as we expected. Eddie Mux, the Cuban-Irish whirlwind, has left the pack and looks like breaking his own world record. Just look at that man go! And here we have the true professional. Cool, calm, confident, completely unruffled. Putting back some of the liquid lost in perspiration and, they'll have to go some to catch Eddie Mux up. Up, Eddie Mux? He really is phenomenal, extremely good. There's just no stopping this man.
Mind that down!
Well, here are the results of the all-men's inter-services nude leapfrog competition. They are Army 99, Air Force 96, Navy 2, with leading seaman Ouncedredder being disqualified. Well, now it's time for the Ladies' Bowls tournament, which comes today from Wilchester.
Mrs. Cartwright is way out in front and the competition is very keen. These ladies are determined that she won't win again this year.
It's time... time now for the athletics from Dimpton, and for the first time, you're going to be seeing mixed track events.
This is Frida Dobbs with the Todbridge Harriers, and round she goes. It's a lovely sight, is that not? And it's a good one, it's a good one. But here comes Hamish Hallmark with the Stirling Academicals, and I think he's going to show them a thing or two today. I'm pretty sure of it, and they seem to enjoy it in the audience there, don't they? Round he goes, and they seem to be having a little contretemps with one or two members of the audience there, sitting in the front row, having a good view. And around he goes. And he lets go, and it's the long jump, and here comes Jerry Lucas, and it's not her best. It's not her best at all, no. But I think that Sid Tidworth here will pick up a point or two. Here he comes now.
Wasn't it? Well, now it's time for fishing, for angling, and for the angling we are going over to Grumble on the Green, where the to Grumble on the Green, where Harry Hooker is waiting to tell us all about the fishing. Over to you, happy Harry Hooker.
As you join us, the news is that Colonel Nutter, who won last year's competition, is not having a very good day. He just doesn't seem to have any luck at all.
Well, it's over now for to Frampton, and for news of the show jumping, here is Teddy Tripp.
Where I'm hoping to speak to one of Britain's top show jumpers, Mrs. Biscuit.
Hello!
Mrs. Biscuit,
Yes.
I know there are a lot of horse lovers watching today.
I'm sure there are some very horse lovers watching today. They shouldn't talk so much, should they? Don't do that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Could you tell us about yourself?
Well, yes, I could. You see, I'm afraid recently I've got into a rather disgusting habit.
What's that?
This one I'm wearing. I just use it for cleaning out the stables, that's all.
And your husband?
He's just gone for a pony and trap. He doesn't ride quite so often now, owing to the boil, you know. Poor thing, yes.
Well, of course, you love it at any time.
Oh, any time, yes, I love it any time. Yes.
How long has it been?
Well, it's been different lengths at different times, of course. You see. I mean, how long has what been?
Since you started show jumping.
Oh, I started when I was 17. That'd be about 8 years ago. Yes, easy, yes. And of course, I've got a lovely husband and, of course, lovely darling Harold.
There's no jealousy.
Oh, none whatsoever, no, he's sweet. Just so long as he gets his oats regular, that's all he worries about.
I was talking about your husband.
So was I. I'm happy to say.
How many hours a day do you ride?
Well, I should think about 6 hours a day as a rule, yes. They say when I ride, I look like part of the horse. They never say which part, of course.
But really, all those hours each day, bouncing up and down in the saddle, doesn't it give you a headache?
No, quite the reverse. Gives the horse a headache. I know what you were thinking, you naughty television. Don't do that. Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's darling Harold who'll be going with you to the Olympics.
Yes, in Canada. Yes, I'm so glad, yes.
How do you think you'll get on?
Well, I expect my husband will give me a bunker. He frequently does, you know, and able to get on to the...
In the events?
Yes, well, in any event, I suppose. Yes, in any event, we will put our best hoof forward, eh?
Over the years, you must have won an awful lot of trophies.
Oh, I've won a lot of awful trophies, I have really, yes. I've won 24 medals, 12 statuettes, and a shield inscribed to the fastest mare in Surrey.
Have you ever won a loving cup?
No, I've never been in for that sort of competition. I didn't know they gave cups for it, do they? I'm sure I should win one if I went in for one.
I'm sure our viewers would love to see darling Harold. Do you think perhaps you could coax him
No,
out?
I'm sorry, because at the moment, you see, I'm just about to give him his tranquilizing pill, you see. He hasn't been terribly well just lately, you know.
Will he swallow that?
Oh, he'll swallow anything, yes. No, the thing is, you see, I have to give him this by a very, very devious method, you see. What I do, you see, I get this tube here. You see, I place the pill there, and the other tube, the end of the tube in his mouth, you see, and I blow, you see, that's how he takes the pill. I'll show you, look. I'm afraid darling Harold blew first.
Won't that have an effect on your,
No, it'll have no effect on me whatsoever. No, no, it's happened before. Well, I can't stand here talking. I have to look after the stables, and the work just keeps piling up in there.
In that case, I'll say goodbye.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try and get darling Harold just to say bye-bye for you. Come along, darling Harold. No, leave Enoch alone. Never mind about Margaret. Or Tony. There, yes, I know. Don't do that. There's a good one. Say good night, darling Harold. Come along. Isn't that lovely? Thank you so much. Well, it's over now. For tennis at Wilmington. We hope we don't have any incidents like we did last year. You may remember that the Vicar of St. Arthur's last year sat in the front row with a newly starched collar, cut his head off. Hope we don't get anything like that. So it's we're going to have a look at the competition, which is for the New Frontiers Bra Cup. And in particular, we'll be taking a jolly good look at the women's doubles.
Where the Roberts sisters, Terry and Libby, are taking on the Clunk sisters, Frida and Ada. and with 8 o'clock about to leap the net to congratulate her opponents, we'll say goodbye.
Well, dear, I'm afraid we have to say goodbye to you because we won't have time, unfortunately, for the wrestling, which I know you enjoy so much. But do tune in again next week and we'll show you some more Worlds of Sport. Good evening, everybody. How do you do? We would like to introduce ourselves to you. People call me Luke because I'm not so hot.
And people call me Tinker because I think a lot.
If you're interested, if you have the time, we would like to sing you a little nursery rhyme, like Jack and Jill went up the hill, or Hickory Dickory Dock.
And Mary had a little lamb and the doctor died of shock. Hello, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool?
What the heck you think that's on me? Back, you silly fool. We'll turn the black wool into garters for the girls of whom we're fond, and they'll wear them in memory of those who've passed beyond. Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow?
It grows very well because I've got a brand new hoe. I'll put manure on me rhubarb, manure on me flour.
You put manure on your rhubarb, we have cream on ours. They didn't carry the fiddle, so everybody sings.
I wonder did it know that part of his brother was in the strings.
And then the cow jumped over the moon, at least that's what we're told.
Expect it was because the farmer's hands were cold.
Or was she broken-hearted 'cause he'd felt her teats all year and never had the thoughtfulness to say, I love you, dear?
Oh, Mary had her this, but she swallowed it one day.
And now she's taking Beecham's pills to pass the time away. We also do conundrums to tell you all the truth.
Wood goose trickle trickle,
a piddler on the roof. Now the time has come for us to go, I fear. So we'll wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous year. Ladies and gentlemen, 50 years ago tonight, Paul Finch, the famous short-sighted poet, typed his last poem on a machine which had been repaired by an equally short-sighted repairman, and he put the F where the P should be, and he put the P where the F should be. However, as it is his last poem, I thought tonight you might like to hear it as it was originally written. Here it is then, Patricia and Feta, the final poem of Paul Finch. I think you'll like it. Patricia was just 15 when she fell in love with feet. He was fishing in the river with galoshes on his feet. He speaks first. Is the water deep here? About 4 inches, she replies. He put his foot in front of him and sank up to his eyes. As he struggled to the surface, covered from head to foot in muck, she said, "That's punny. It only comes halfway up my duck." She noticed he was peeling paint. So she gripped him by the arm. He said, "Are you rich?" She said, "No, I peed myself." With poo grown on my palm. Years passed by, and handsome feet leapt town, and so did Fritty Fat. She joined the Metropolitan Police Force. Her pokes were proud of that. One day, as she was facing up and down, she heard a strange cry in the street. Someone was flaying a piddle. In the gutter, there stood Feet. She could tell by the look upon his face, he was peeling broken-hearted. He said, "I've leapt my wipe, you know." She said, "I heard you'd gone." "Please, please, oh, go away, please," he begged. She answered him with smiles. He said, "I've been in prison." She said, "I know, I've seen your piles." He said, "At least I had food in there, and over my head a roop. But if I'd have stayed much longer with all those men, I'd have become a raving foop." She held his hand as they were wed at the chapel op St. Paul's. They honeymooned in Niagara, and she held him by the paw. They now have 4 children, and a life for them is great. You just can't predict where it will point. That pickle finger of fate. A nudist from Notting Hill Gate was pushed into a pond by his mate, and a tiddler swam by, and he said with a sigh, "Will you look what they're using for bait?" Here, I got out of a sick bed to come here tonight.
Yeah.
The wife's got flu. Yeah. How do you make antifreeze?
I don't know. How do you make antifreeze?
I don't knickers. Here, I say, do you know how to make an elephant fly?
No.
Well, you start with a zipper 4 feet long. Here, darling, do you know what virgins eat for breakfast?
No.
Please, can I see your own?
I hear your mother-in-law's broke a leg. Don't make me laugh. I've got a split lip, ain't I?
Only good thing to come from Leeds is footballers and loose women.
Here, my wife comes from Leeds.
Oh, what position does she play?
Are you afraid of the big bad wolf?
No.
Funny, the other 2 little pigs were.
Well, I've had a shilling for every woman I made love to.
What would you do? Buy a packet of crisps? Why did you take up the piano?
Well, you see, the beer kept falling off me violin. So I'm all right here, mate. This one's trisexual.
Bisexual?
No, trisexual. She'd try anything.
I was going to put my uncle's death in the obituary column of the local paper, but I couldn't afford it. It was 50p an inch, and he's over 6 foot tall.
Here. How do buffaloes make love?
I don't know. My husband's a mason.
This is my wife.
Hello. What happened to that stupid-looking red-headed scrubber you used to knock about with?
I dyed my hair.
Darling, have a peanut.
No, thanks. I don't want to be under obligation.
You won't be under obligation for a peanut. It's not like a bar of chocolate. Here. Goldilocks. Why don't you try Baldo? It's jolly good, you know. It don't grow hair, but it shrinks your head so that what you've got fits better. Here, I say, why don't you let your eyebrows grow long, then you can comb them back. Like that. Oh, it's smooth. Yeah, it feels just like my wife's backside.
Sure it does.
Tranquilizers and pet pills together. Yeah, it makes you go out looking for a bird, but if you don't find one, you couldn't care less.
Hey, look what I found.
Hey, that's mine, that is.
Can you prove it's yours?
Hey, it's got my name inside.
Your name inside.
Hey,
What is your name?
Sterling Silver. Thank you kindly.
I'll get it, Pa.
Oh, pardon us. I was wondering if you would mind if my husband, the Reverend Soames, and I came in and said a while, get out of the way of this terrible storm.
Why, surely.
Well, that is right neighborly of you, I do declare. Normally, my husband, the Reverend, he likes to see the snow on the ground. He says the only time our garden looks as nice as the one next door.
I'm Willard Park.
Well, don't apologize, it's all right.
And this is my daughter, Grace. She can play a tune on the bagpipes.
Wow, that's amazing, Grace.
Would the Reverend like to hear her play a hymn?
Well, I'm afraid he's a mite hard of hearing. As a matter of fact, he is so deaf that last week he conducted a prayer meeting for 3 hours kneeling on the cat. He sure as hell did upset the deacon.
The dealer?
No, the deacon, do you know our deacon? He's the son of a bishop.
They all are.
I was wondering if you might just have a wee drop of whiskey in the house.
Oh, but the Reverend, surely.
Medicinal purposes only, I do assure you. I have a slight cold.
The world's best scientific brains tell us that whiskey cannot cure the common cold.
Nor can the world's best scientific brains. So move your ass to your daughter if she would be so kind.
I'll get it.
I'll show you where it is.
Sure would appreciate that.
My, she's big. I like 'em big.
Now you just keep your cotton-picking hands to yourself and leave her alone.
I was just going to give her a piece of sympathy.
Yeah, and I know your interpretation of that word sympathy. A little fellow feeling. Mind, he's quite nice.
He's conceited.
All handsome men are.
I'm not.
You have only got to hear a clap of thunder and you go to the window and take a bow. You have only got to go to a roping match and see a scrum and you think they're all talking about you. And look at you, you are about as sexy as a dose of syrup of figs.
We interrupt this broadcast with the news that Bonnie and Clyde, the notorious gangsters, have been seen in this vicinity. They are wearing old fawn raincoats which they stole from Martin's store. This was to cover up their own clothes, which consisted of a green dress and a pinstripe suit.
You're Bonnie and Clyde.
You're the ones that's got all that money that belongs to the bank.
Honey, I do assure you I am just as poor as a church mouse. Why, the only thing I've got between me and the poorhouse is this little second-hand pistol that's pointed straight at your head. I'll get the whiskey. Hang on a minute. And go and get the sheriff. I think I'll come with you, Willard.
What, and leave her alone in here with him?
Why, now, you don't think that anything untoward would happen, do you? Why, honey, you ain't scared about being molested? I mean, you ain't afraid of having your lovely body fondled, are you?
No, I ain't scared.
I was talking to him.
I ain't scared.
You see, he ain't scared.
Yeah, but he could lock the door and have his way with her.
Why, he wouldn't do a thing like that. He's too fine. He's too decent. He's too damn old, that's the truth. Why, do you know his last birthday party, the candles cost more than a cake?
Did you count them?
I tried to, but the heat drove me back.
Well, you. Only time you look normal is Halloween. She got her face lifted, and when they saw what was underneath, they let it drop again. And look at that figure. Like a kangaroo with all the kids home.
Why, you don't know nothing. Last week he went fly fishing, and he came back with a 7-pound blue bottle. He is just plain ignorant.
I went to school, stupid.
And you come out the same way and all.
Oh, man's so big. Whenever she smiles, she gets lipstick in her ears. Just like her mama.
My mama does not have a big mouth.
Your mama sleeps with her false teeth in a bucket.
Well, how about your mama? I could put both my hands in your mama's mouth up to my elbows and still wind my wool. Well, now stop. Get on off with him with you. I never did.
You don't think much of us small-town folk.
Who don't?
You city slickers.
Why, honey, I ain't no city slicker. Why, the town I come from is so small, we had to widen the main road to put a white line down the middle.
Just a one-horse town.
And there was 2 butchers fighting over him, too. Why, do you know my mama and papa was so poor, they couldn't afford to buy me clothes. I had to run around the house naked till I was 15.
Then what?
They bought me a hat so I could look out the window. And then one day, I met Horace. Oh, he was wonderful, Horace. You see, we had a big house in the front and he had a flat behind. He bought me a lovely new dress. It was low at the back and low at the front, and I was so excited I could hardly contain myself. He used to do bird impersonations. You know, they were so realistic, I was afraid to look up. When I think of him doing them bird impersonations, why, I can almost smell the custard. And then one day we quarreled about the wedding plans. You see, I wanted a white wedding with a lovely white dress and bridesmaids and everything, and he wanted to call the whole damn thing off. I was just unlucky, I guess. You know, the only time we ever made love was on the waterbed, and I got seasick. Then I left, and his house burned down, and he was poached to death. Very sad. You know, I sometimes think that I'm so unlucky, if it was raining soup, I'd have a fork. You know? Well, that's brought a little color back to your cheeks now, hasn't it, eh? It's green, but it's color. Stop all of that.
Hey,
Thanks kindly.
is my face dirty or is my imagination?
Well, your face is clean. I don't know about your imagination. What in heaven's name are you doing there? Goodness gracious me.
We ain't got no money.
Why, now, you didn't think we was going to rob you now, did you?
We just wanted somewhere to hole up for the night.
For the night?
You see, he got to get up early tomorrow morning before the bank opens.
We don't like to spend the night here, but you see, we only got 2 beds, so you got to give me your word of honor that you'll sleep with my daughter and your partner here will sleep with me, because we're mighty moral folks around these parts.
Why, now, Willard, I wouldn't have it any other way. That is our normal way of carrying on.
Thank you kindly.
Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you lock the door, and you can keep the key. Now, how about that?
Oh, thank you.
It's okay. Now, is everything shut up?
Yeah. Everything else is.
Good night, Pa.
Good night, Grace.
Good night, Bonnie!
Good night, Clyde.
That's nice. Good night, all. Will you please welcome the delectable Love Machine?
You pregnant again?
No, Paul, I'm just carrying it for a friend.
Good morning. I'd like to buy a brassiere for the wife, please.
What size?
15.
15?
Yeah.
What did you measure it with?
Me bowler hat. 2 7.5.
I say, do you know Bishop's Walk?
Well, it's good for them.
2043, 2044, 2045.
Amy, you pregnant again?
No, Paul. I just got a pain in my stomach. Only the doctor said if I stick it out till 6 o'clock, he'll give me some pills. I call one of my dogs Greyhound on account of he's the grayest. I call another dog Happy on account of he's the gayest. I call the big dog Meanie on account of he's the meanest. And I call the pup Liberace on account of he's the pianist.
With today's recipe, and here's a nice tasty dish for you. Spicy young chicken with lovely dumplings. To follow, cling peaches in chili. All nice and wobbly. So while you get your pencils out, here is a musical medley.
Thank you all for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon. Until then, bye-bye, God bless, look after yourselves.